Vancouver game now. Out in Vancouver, we got some nice temperature, 73 degrees, a little windy, 6-mile-an-hour wind, 37% humidity, no precipitation, Nick.
Yeah, it's nice in the Pacific Northwest when you can do it without rain, especially this time of year. So it sounds like a beautiful night out there in Vancouver. I can tell you that the weather here in our basement studios in Philadelphia is fantastic. Even 72 degrees, no wind. I think we're going to be fine here. So 6-mile-an-hour wind's not going to make a big difference for these teams. I think we're going to see a nice wide open game.
It's going to be fun to watch. Vancouver comes into this game 0-5 on the season in search of their first win. Seattle enters the game 2-2. They're sitting at second place, and with San Francisco losing and dropping to 1-2, Seattle has a chance to get a good edge on San Francisco for that second place spot in the West.
Yeah, you can't underestimate the importance of these games. Seattle's coming up here, and Vancouver hasn't won a game. So they may be coming in a little maybe confident, a little loose, but they can't, they can't underestimate a Vancouver team that has consistently improved over the last few weeks, and B, they can't lose track of the fact that these games are important to get that lead on San Francisco. Because, you know, with Portland winning again today, this is really a race for second place and a race to make the playoffs.
Certainly a race for second place for Seattle. As we're going to see the national anthem, I believe, being played there. It's a big game for Seattle, as you mentioned, but Vancouver, they're improving each game. We saw last week against Portland, who's the #1 team in the West. They're undefeated. They had a struggle in the first half, but had a very good second half against them. They scored more than 12 points for the first time in a game. They scored 18 points last week against Seattle. They just struggle on defense. So they're making improvements, Nick.
They're definitely making improvements. I mean, last week was the first time that we actually saw them start to win quarters in each game. So they need to just start to string together those quarters and get actually in a game as you get deep into the second half, which they haven't really done yet. So we'll hope to see them do that tonight.
All right, Nick, let's take a look at our players to watch for today's game.
Yeah, definitely. So the first player to watch for Seattle is number 18, Matthew Neely. Neely is a huge part of the Seattle defense, a great player all around. And this year, he's really shouldering more weight for the team. You know, he's playing a similar number of points, actually. You know, last year he played 16 points per 0.548 last year, all the way up to 0.845. He's getting way more involved in the offense, and that's showing. You know, when they get the turns, he's the go-to guy now. He has 5 goals and 9 assists on the season, 95.5% completion rate. You know, and all 9 of Neely's assists have been for breaks. Mm-hmm. Just huge. And then it's all about those breaks for the Seattle team, right? They need to get out here early. This defense needs to come out, and it needs to take it right to Vancouver. All right. Looking over at the Vancouver side, we have Taylor Naden, right? He's a key cog in the offense. We saw him last week. He was everywhere. He was behind the disc. He was downfield. You know, he has 7 goals, 10 assists, 93% completion rate, and he's played 92 offensive points for this team. He's one of only 2 Nighthawks with over 80, and so a big part of the offense, and we'll look to see him here as we're getting ready to get started.
All right, we're going to get the first pull here, and we're going to skip the keys to the game.
Yeah, we got to go right by them. We'll talk about them as the game progresses, you know, and we'll get to those between points perhaps. But for now, I'm excited to see this game get underway. This is going to be a good one.
All right, so you see Vancouver in their red jerseys. They're going to pull left to right on your screen. Taking some time on the line here. Referee gives him the signal. The pull is up, and this game is underway. A low pull right in front of Seattle's end zone. They'll take over. A nice backhand there to the close sideline as Seattle works it up the field. That's number 44, Gussin with the disc. He has a dump. That's 31, Valentine. Has a man. That's 0-0 with it, Chris Rupp. Rupp now with a flick. Oh, it's going to be a drop there by Dewey Valentine, and Vancouver's going to take over.
Yeah, that was nice defensive play there by the Vancouver Nighthawks. There's a big throw down the field.
It's going to be a play in the end zone. Oh, dropped as it looked to throw. Like the throw was just a bit behind the Vancouver receiver, and it's going to be a turnover in the end zone.
Yeah, it looked like he might have been able to come up with that, but as he reached back behind him, he was just overcommitted to headed toward the back of that end zone, not able to track it back.
So Seattle with another chance here on offense. A big flick hook down the field. Gusson sends it to a man. A leaping grab by Hauser. He'll put it into the end zone, and a leaping grab for the score. That's Ostergaard.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, Vancouver came out of the gates, got themselves a turnover with some great downfield defense that forced a tough throw from Seattle. But in the end, Seattle was able to claim the disc back all the way at the other end of the field and come back on that fast break and, just start this game off exactly how they needed to. Getting it in the end zone, holding that first point.
And that was an excellent cut from Brad Hauser to set up that score there, Nick.
Yeah, great series of cuts down the field. All started with that big throw. And, I think the Seattle team is always good at turning the disc around and attacking quickly, and they did it right there. Vancouver, no problem so far. They got a turn early. Yeah, they weren't able to capitalize right away, but it's still a good start to the game for them. Let's see how their offense performs.
So Seattle now, they'll pull left to right. We'll see the Vancouver offense for the first time, as you mentioned, Nick. They'll take over, center to the middle of the field, low, hits a man near the far sideline. They'll work the sideline now. Big backhand around to a wide open dump. Loose mark here, and now the mark comes in. Flick to the far sideline, backhand around. That's Hunter with the disc. He had an excellent game last week against Portland, Nick.
He's a huge player for them. He's going to get the disc a lot for them, going to get a lot of assists, just constantly moving out there.
Also the team's leader in points scored and goals scored is Eric Hunter, as Vancouver working the disc now. Flick on the far sideline. Now a dump. Vancouver very patient, and now a throw into the end zone and a score. That's low with the score there, Nick. And that Vancouver offense takes their time, a lot of throws, very patient with it, but very effective.
That was a great offensive series for Vancouver. They moved the disc well. They didn't get shaken by the pressure from Seattle. And you see Lowe finding himself some space out there in the end zone. Great job picking him out. That's the kind of play that if they can do that point after point, if they can stay consistent, and we saw them do better with that last week. They were more consistent on offense. They were making less of those mental errors, and they showed it there. A lot of patience, good movement of the disc, good movement downfield, and in the end, what was a relatively easy score.
Yeah, this is a Vancouver team that leads the league in throws per possession at 6.3 per game. And that's just a very high number, Nick. But they take their time with it. As you said, they're patient, they have good looks, and they're finding men in the end zone. The offense has really come alive in the last couple of games, as they'll send it off left to right on your screen. Seattle will take it now. A nice backhand around to a man. That's Rupp. Rupp back to the middle of the field. Now over the far sideline, that's Gusson. Puts up a big flick hook, has a man with space. He goes up and comes down with it for a score. That's Entz in the end zone.
Entz in the end zone. They call him the Frost Giant. He's a big fella, Entz. He gets himself some space behind his defender, and anytime he's got a step or two, they're going to go ahead and make that throw. A little bit easy there for Seattle. I felt like the Vancouver defense is allowing Seattle to get in behind them. They need to do a little bit of a job of shutting that down.
Yeah, you mentioned Entz as a big target for them. He's listed at 6'6", Nick, so you just throw it up there for him, and he goes up and gets it.
Yeah, I mean, I've stood next to him. He is every inch of 6'6". Great player for them. And they had big expectations for him going into the season, and I'm not surprised to see him getting an early point here on the board.
So after 3 points here early on, no breaks thus far. Seattle up 2-1, 7:40 remaining in the quarter. A high pull here, traveling left to right on your screen. Vancouver takes over. Low with it now. No mark on him. Backhand up the field. That's Nadon. Nadon with no mark. Kind of a zony defense, Nick.
Yeah, Seattle's known for throwing out what you might colloquially call a little bit of a junky defense now and then. It's sort of just mainly to disrupt the opposing team's pull play.
As Lowe has a man on the backhand near the far sideline. A fake there. Now a dump. Vancouver taking their time again with this possession. That's Nadon with it. Nadon fakes a couple backhands. Now has a man. That's number 7, Victor Chang. Chang fakes a backhand. Looks to a dump. Puts it around his man. Has his dump.
Seattle's doing a nice job downfield now, getting those stall counts up high, going to force tougher throws.
As Lowe hits his man. That's Lim. Lim back to Lowe. Lowe taking his time.
Vancouver, as ever, stringing together lots and lots of throws.
As Eric Hunter with the disc. But Seattle's locking down on all these throws downfield, Nick, as Vancouver's trying to get it around. Right at the midfield line. Now Lowe catches it, fakes a flick.
He had Nadon streaking there, it looked like, but just didn't like the amount of space available.
And that throw in traffic. Oh, a layout grab. And now a hammer into the end zone and a score for Nadon. An unbelievable series of events there, Nick.
A great catch there, good concentration with a lot of contact there on the goal line. And then we see that nice hammer floated over the top. Once that catch was made, the goal was inevitable because everybody got sucked toward it. No one was quite sure what happened. And we end up with a really nice grab there. Well, fantastic grab there under a lot of pressure, and the calmness to stand up and make the right throw into the end zone to get the goal.
That was an excellent play there. A lot of energy from Vancouver early on in this game. It would be nice to see them get their first win in this season, Nick, and they're certainly playing today like they want to get it.
Absolutely. It looks like that catch there was by Lim, who came up with it and made that throw over the top. So really nice catch there. And, again, this is an encouraging start for Vancouver. Their offense seems to be able to move the disc down the field. They're not making any silly throws so far. We haven't seen any of the throwaways and drops that we saw right out of the gate last game that we called.
Now Seattle with the disc. They'll take over, work the middle of the field. Flick near the far sideline, high throw, but he comes down with it. Big floaty flick hook in the end zone. A leaping grab and a score. An excellent grab there, Nick.
Wow. I mean, that Seattle offense, that was their pull play. Click, 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 boom. Right down the sideline of the field. Nice throw there into the end zone. Exactly how they drew it up and probably how they ran it in practice just a few days ago.
I know it's early on, but we've already seen some very exciting plays here, Nick. A good display of athleticism out there on the field.
Absolutely. Both these teams are going to play very different games. We see Vancouver moving the disc around, a lot of repositioning, a lot of changing the angle of attack, whereas Seattle is going to just come run right at you, it looks like at this point. So we had that throw there by Khalif El-Salam. Always good for Seattle when Khalif is back on the field. He's missed a couple of games this year. And a nice catch there by Ostergaard.
Yeah, Salam's a big-time player. He hasn't been on the field lately, with college and whatnot. But certainly great to see him out there as Vancouver takes over. You'll see that zony defense from Seattle. A backhand to a wide-open Nadon. He fakes the backhand. High releases it to a man now. Close sideline.
I like that floaty throw over the top there to, it looks like that's Gatian.
Yeah, number 56, Gatian. He has a man. That's Hunter with the disc. Hunter now looking.
And I want to apologize right off the bat to Patrick Gatian. Oh, there's a nice block there. Comes up with it. That is
as Seattle on the far sideline. Big hawk. It's got a lot of float to it, though. In the end zone, a leap and a sky there for number 4, Robin Breen, as he goes over his defender for the score.
That was a great, great catch by Breen. Keeps his concentration on a floaty throw, and they get themselves a quick break there. Again, a little bit of an easy defensive play caused by kind of some looseness in the Vancouver offense. And that is the danger with what they're running right now. They're making a lot of passes, a lot of them these shorter things, and as the stall counts get up, as the field gets smaller, they're running into a lot more traffic. And Seattle is able to take advantage of it there, come down and get the score.
And Seattle certainly looks like a very athletic team with some of these plays they've made early on in this game. That's why that zone works for them. They're trusting their athletes to make plays down the field, and they've just come up with some very, very athletic plays in the end zone, before the end zone, and they're really they're outplaying this Vancouver team physically.
Yeah, it does look that way a little bit right now, but again, Vancouver can't let that sort of thing get in their head. They got to come back down the field, punch this one in, stay, in this contest, which they have every bit of ability to do. We've seen the way that they're capable of playing, so this is going to be a very important point in terms of whether or not they can answer.
And now Vancouver working the far sideline, a flick to the middle of the field, good throw, but a lack of concentration there, and that's a big, costly drop for Vancouver as Seattle takes over in front of their own end zone.
Yeah, that is exactly what Vancouver doesn't need. You make a nice throw across the field to an open man who made a nice cut. Everything done properly there except for the final execution on the catch.
And now Harmouche on the far sideline, towing the line, fakes a big flick, now goes back around, has a man. On the far sideline, that's 88 Massler. He has a man. Sheridan, double teamed now, gets out of it, and I think we're going to have a call here.
Yeah, it looks like that double team was a little bit overly aggressive. Have a foul called. Going to move them forward 10 yards. Contact foul on the mark.
So Sheridan with the disc now after the violation. A nice break throw there, Nick, and it's going to be a score off the throw from number 88, Massler.
Yeah, nice break throw. Very important one, too. Nadon was doing a great job defensively on the dump there, which caused that thrower to have to look back upfield, but was able to find somebody on a nice little break across. Good play there from Seattle. Seattle tacks another point on, and another break.
And that was Matthew Neely coming up with the score. That makes it 4-2 in favor of Seattle with 5:05 remaining in the quarter here. 2 consecutive breaks here for Seattle as Vancouver's offense has kind of struggled these last couple of points, Nick. What do they have to do to get back on track?
It's just execution, and we said it last week, and I hope we don't keep having to say it through this game, but they actually ran very good offense tactically that last time around. They got the throw that they wanted, which was that cross-field flick, but in the end, the concentration just wasn't there on the catch, and that's going to be an ongoing issue if they can't keep their fundamentals in order.
So Vancouver will take over. They'll face that zony defense for Seattle again. A loose mark here. A throw in the middle of the field. Now towards the far sideline.
Yeah, and Seattle accomplishes exactly what they want to, which is to stop the pull play and force Vancouver into this offense that moves the disc more and provides more opportunities to get a block or to get some other kind of turnover.
Now it looks like Vancouver's starting to find holes in this zony defense. Good throw there.
That was a little bit dangerous there.
But it worked out as a wide open man in front of the end zone and an easy score on the backhand there. That's number 6, Ted Chu, who has it in the end zone.
Yeah, great patience there right at the edge of the end zone by Vancouver. It would have been easy to make the wrong choice there. You get the disc right at the front of the end zone. You're looking to punch it in. Had a couple of cutters, but all in very, very tight space. Instead, holds on to the disc, swings it around, and finds somebody wide open for the easy throw. We want to see more of that from Vancouver, more generating easy throws, because that's that's the problems they've been having. And easy throw and catch, it's like backyard ball. That's what you want.
Yeah, an easy score. I think we're getting a timeout here, Nick. Is this just a timeout to set up the pull from the middle of the field?
It looks like it is. So it looks like Vancouver, and I think this is a really smart play by the coaching staff to make this decision right now. You've dropped a couple of breaks there, and you want to get back in and make a statement. And so instead of, as most teams will do, holding this timeout till later in the second quarter, which is what we see a lot, they're going to use it early on here to take this half-field pull and try to jump back in with a break of their own.
And my apologies to those of you watching at home. The score is actually 5-3 in favor of Seattle as they take over now on offense.
Yeah, we have a great setup here in the offices for calling these games, and you couldn't ask for better. We're looking at a very, very large television. But at the same time, we have some graphics issues. Oh, and there's a missed throw by Seattle. Not even entirely sure what he was looking at there. It looked like maybe overthrew a short cutter. And Vancouver gets what they want out of that half-field pull, which is a turn here.
Yeah, and it looked like Mitchell Dazidagel on the end there. It was a bad throw, but he got a hand on it. That's going to be a D. And he leads this team in blocks with 7. That's 8 now, and a throw towards the end zone. It's going to be out the back of the end zone on the side there.
Yeah, had a guy going deep there. It looked like that was Eric Hunter. And now this is going to come all the way back down the field. And so instead of taking that turnover and working it down and getting a goal, or at least working it into better field position, they give it right back at the sideline with it, just a throwing error.
And now a big flick around. Masler with it. Masler has a man on the far sideline. Now a flick down the sideline. That's Hauser with the disc. Hauser. He looks. Has Masler? No, it's a bad throw. It's just too far out in front of him. It looked like it was too hard for him to handle.
He was running out of time there. Had to rush it. That was great defense by Vancouver on the sideline. Now looking deep. Does he get a toe in bounds on the far sideline? No, he does not.
No. So that's going to be a turnover for Vancouver. Masler picks up the disc for Seattle. Has a man. That's Gussin. Puts it up towards the end zone. It's got some flow to it. A leap, a grab, and a score for Hauser.
Hauser goes up early over the top of everybody. What a great catch. And you see the faith that Gussin has in him. He's just going to lay it out there and let him go get it, and he does indeed, leaving the ground way before the defender has even thought about going up there.
And Hauser's a big-time player for Seattle. He has the second most goals on this team. And not just from Hauser, Nick, but we've seen some tremendous displays of athleticism in the end zone early on here for Seattle.
A very athletic team. They play well together. They understand each other's abilities, and that's a great example of it. We're just going to put it up there, let you go get it. A lot of fun to watch too. We all enjoy those big plays like that. We enjoy that kind of action. Vancouver just needs to take care of it. They're getting the turns. They're getting the opportunities. They just need to make a little better choices when they get the disc on with their defensive O-line.
Yep, and here they'll take over Vancouver. Low with the disc now. They'll work it on the far sideline. Handler in a power position, but he doesn't put up the huck. Now a fake flick there. Backhand around. Vancouver now with a loose mark. Big Blady backhand, just too high for the cutter to come up with it. And it's going to be a turnover as Seattle will take over.
Not a great throw there, but you really want to see your players downfield come up with those catches. Half the game is making the right throws. The other half is counting on players making catches. Nice block there on the sideline. That was a big block. I think the Seattle guy may have been able to turn downfield, make a catch on that, but Vancouver gets up big, gets the block, and gets the disc back.
Yeah, certainly a big effort there for Vancouver, and I think we're getting a call here on where the disc was out of bounds, maybe, Nick?
Yep, there we go. The officials come over.
They'll
put a foot down to
literally
to mark it, and we're gonna get the disc in now.
Vancouver with it now, a tight mark, but a dump there and a call here. Are we gonna get a pick maybe?
Looks like another call here. We're gonna have to take a second and sort this out.
Waiting for the call. Looks like it's coming back to the mark.
Yeah, maybe an incorrect restart.
That might be the call. It's going to go back to Chang. So, yeah, probably a restart here, Nick.
It's probably a restart error. Looked like a little bit of a miscommunication. They're going to get things settled down here. Officials have to sometimes take a few minutes to make sure they're getting things right. So it looks like right now we're looking at possibly a clock resetting situation. Having been in Thunderbird Stadium before, I believe that the scoreboard's down at that end where he's looking. So I think that's what's going on here.
Yep.
See if he gets this straightened out.
Yeah. That's Victor Chang with the disc. And Harmouche on the mark. As you were mentioning, it looks like a clock situation. Looks like they're about set.
Was that Chang with that block over there on the sideline?
I believe so.
That was a great block. Really enjoyed that.
And now Chang working his mark. puts up a flick, has a man. That's Nadon. Nadon puts up a flick into the end zone, has an open man, and that's going to be a score.
Great look there from Nadon, finds David Stelk back there in the end zone, and Stelk pretty happy with himself. I'm not sure we're going to talk much about the spike that he chose to use there, but great play there from Nadon to Stelk.
I will say it was pretty creative, but not sure how much our viewers at home enjoyed that one, Nick. A little bit of a Randy Moss in the end zone in Green Bay kind of celebration there.
Yep, looked a little bit like something like that. So, but a big goal there for Vancouver, getting back to 2 points down. And, what they really need now is a break. So right now they haven't had a break yet this quarter. Just a little bit of time, about 37 seconds left in the quarter. Now is the time, as they say. Now is the time to get that break.
As they're set to pull here, they'll send it off left to right. High pull. It's got some hang time to it. Seattle take over in their own end zone. Very good pull there. As Masler with it has a backhand. That's Hauser. Hauser to the middle of the field. Has a man. That's Entz. And look at how big he is, Nick.
Yeah, in my memory, Entz spent a lot more time on the D-line in the past. It's nice to see him out there on the O-line.
Big fake there.
Oh!
And a good D, though, by Vancouver.
Yeah, nice hand in there after that fake. It looked like they had some openings. Not a lot of time left here. Oh, give it
quick
right
turnover.
Back.
Oh!
And I love that little extra roll there after the miss. Vancouver walking it back up, but I believe that's going to be the end of the quarter. Not going to get another one out of there. Nice bid there by Hauser, and then a little extra roll for emphasis on how disappointed he was with not being able to come up with that.
He really wanted that one. That would have been his 13th goal this season and put him ahead on this Seattle Rainmaker team in terms of goals scored, but I couldn't come up with that one. So that'll keep the score at 6-4 here. So at the end of one, the Seattle Rainmakers are up over the Vancouver Nighthawks 6-4.
Yeah, with the number 6-4, that's very useful. Obviously, that's our score. But I think the bigger number that we need to look at here is Seattle's coming out of this quarter with 2 breaks, and Vancouver's coming out of them with none. That's not for lack of opportunities. They've had their chances. They've had an opportunity to get a break here or there, but they just haven't been able to put that together.
Yeah, their offense looked a little steady there at the end of that quarter. And now I think we're going to go to a break, so we'll be right back with the second quarter of action here between the Vancouver Nighthawks and
You look and there's this big giant animal running towards you.
When I first started commentating, it was kind of tough for me because I can be out there too. I can play with these guys. Why am I up here in the booth?
Jeff Brand he's a freaking monster. He can sort of just do it all,
A few of my students were like, "We saw you on the bus." I was like, "I don't ride the bus." No, you're on the side of the bus.
I'm Chris Markowitz alongside Nick Darling, bringing you coverage of the Seattle Rainmakers versus Vancouver Nighthawks. We're entering the second quarter. Seattle is up 6-4 over Vancouver. And Nick, as you were mentioning, Vancouver just couldn't execute on defense in that last quarter when they got turns.
Yeah, they were getting the opportunities. And you know what? You can't be too upset about that. Getting the chances, being able to get the disc in your hands as a defensive side, that's the first step. Now what we want to see from them is them be able to convert some of those, and that's going to get them right back in this game. Right now, though, not a bad position for them. 2 down at the end of the first quarter. Let's see how they come out at the beginning of the second quarter and see what they can do. It seems like the wind has picked up a little bit out there because I was noticing the disc bouncing around a little, getting some float.
Yeah.
Looks like we're actually more at about a 13-mile-an-hour wind at the moment, and we're definitely seeing that have a little bit of an effect.
We got some time here, Nick. You want to do keys to the game?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get a chance to talk about this leading in, so we can look through them right now. Basically, at the beginning of this game, we're looking at, coming into this game, binary results, right? Seattle is 0-2 versus Portland. They're 2-0 versus Vancouver. They haven't even played San Francisco yet. Right now, they have a chance to win the series against Vancouver for the season. They play 4 times in total. If they can win tonight, that's going to give them a 3-0 on the season against Vancouver, and that is a great way forward for them in terms of making the playoffs. And then the other thing is that the Rainmakers 47-28 is the margin by which they've outscored the Nighthawks over 2 games. And the worry there is that you're going to come into this game with a little bit of too much confidence, thinking, well, this is a team that we've rolled over a couple times. We can go ahead and do that again without too much problem. I think we've seen, though, from the Seattle team that they're here to play tonight, and they're gonna play the game that they always play. I don't think they're gonna let that confidence get in the way. In terms of Vancouver, we want to see them get up off of that thing.
Yeah.
Vancouver's been outscored by 10.4 points per game on average. They've been at the most points per game at 24. Right now they're on a pace for, it looks like, about that if they're not cautious. So it doesn't mean that they're not going to turn that around and tighten up that defense, but right now that's something they have to keep an eye on. And then they need to get any concern, worry, fear, nervousness out of their vocabulary. Trade that fear for freedom, as we say, a more freewheeling attitude toward the game. We'd like to really see them, open things up. I think they've shown that they've gotten to a point where they're doing better moving the disc around with these little ticky-tacky kind of throws, but I'd like to see them get downfield a little bit more, open the game up. And they need to attack the Seattle offense when they get a turn. The Rainmakers aren't a super strong team in terms of offensive efficiency. They need to take advantage of that. Take the disc away from them, get down there and score, and this is going to be their first shot at it as we start off the second quarter.
Yep, as you mentioned, we'll get a chance to see that Vancouver defense try to take the disc away as the pull travels into Seattle's end zone. They'll look to work it here in the middle of the field. That's number 60 with the disc, Hauser. Hauser with a flick. Dangerous throw. But his man comes up with it, a flick. That's number 3. Salam has a man. Now a flick towards the end zone. It's going to be low, and it's going to be a turnover. And like you were saying, Nick, let's see if Vancouver can take advantage of this turn.
This is the big test for them. Can they convert a break opportunity? They haven't done so yet today, and they've had a number of them. So this will be a big moment here if they can do this in the beginning of this quarter.
And now a laser beam of a flick to the middle of the field. Now a big lefty backhand into the end zone. It's going to be out in front of the cutter and just too far there, Nick.
A little bit too far, but you know what? I like that better from Vancouver. Instead of being nervous, instead of pushing the disc around a little bit, they go right at Seattle, have a run at the end zone. Yeah, they didn't get it, but I think that's a stronger showing for this defensive O-line.
Certainly looks like a confident look there down the field. As now Seattle with it. Flick to the middle.
That's Al Salam with it now.
Salam's one of their big-time players. Salam with a flick. Has a man. That's Gussin with it. Gussin pivots. Now he looks. Has a dump. Seattle taking their time on offense. That's Masler with it. Masler has a man on the far sideline. Down to the middle of the field. That's Salam with it. Salam to the far sideline to Gussin. Gussin with a dump. Now a nice backhand right in front of the end zone.
That was a nice dump cut there on the outside.
Certainly set up a big throw there. Now throw into the end zone or just short as Salam flips it to a man. Has a score. That's Dewey Valentine with a score there. Great patience there from Seattle, Nick.
Yeah, fantastic work from Seattle. They gave up an early turn in the point. Not a big deal if you're able to get it back. So, again, Vancouver generating the turnovers on defense, getting the opportunities, just need to get one converted, and they're going to be right on their way back into this game. So they're only down by 3 now. Still not that big a deal, but we do want them to attack and to score a goal, and that's what's going to take us into the second half with the kind of excitement we look for in a game.
Now it looks like a timeout is called here, but it's going to be one of those midfield pull timeouts, Nick.
Yep, we got a 20-second timeout, setting up the midfield pull. Seattle getting themselves ready to go down and just sort of see if they can extend this lead that they've built up here in the early parts of this game.
Yeah, this would be a big break for them. It would put them up 4. It would double their lead that they had entering from the first quarter. 7:58 remaining in the second quarter here. They'll send it off right to left on your screen, Seattle. That's number 12, Eddie Harmouche with the disc. High backhand pull. They'll roll out the back. It's a good pull here.
It's a good pull, but it's right toward the middle of the field, and the refs will always have a disc set at the middle of the field. So Vancouver does a nice job of picking that up quickly and getting themselves moving out of their own end zone.
Now a big backhand to the opposite side of the field, has some float to it. Man wide open. That's low, and he comes up with it in traffic. There was a lot of contact there, Nick, and now he puts it into the end zone. Has a man, he'll leap. Oh, a great leaping grab there for the score. That's number 17, Eric Hunter, and he's really come out to play this season, Nick.
He definitely has. That was a great catch there by Hunter. Made a little bit more difficult than it needed to be. I'm not sure what happened on that initial throw deep. I mean, how open Vancouver was for that throw. I think Seattle must have been pressing very, very hard on the half-field pole, trying to get something down near the end zone, and instead ends up giving up a quick deep look, which is just what you want when you're a team trying to get out of your own end zone.
Yeah, that was Sasha Lowe streaking deep and coming up with it. The catch in traffic. Looked like he got bumped there from behind there, Nick, on the way down, but a great job of getting back up, setting his feet, taking his time. It was a little bit of a floaty throw, but when you have Eric Hunter in the end zone, he's going to come down with a lot of those.
Yeah, you can always count on Eric Hunter, and it looked like he was going up against, I think that was Ben Beener on the other side of it, who's a big, tall player himself, very good player for Seattle. So that was a fun matchup to see, and Hunter got the best of it that time.
Yeah, Hunter's certainly been fun to watch. We saw him last week throw that big hammer from midfield for a score, so he's really doing it all for this Vancouver team this season.
Yeah, I mean, we expected it coming into the season as we saw how the team was forming up. Hunter being a real veteran and coming in and being a big part of actually pulling these players together for this team. He was a big part of scouting, a big part of getting people out, and remains a big part out there on the field.
Now Seattle will look to get the disc out of their end zone. Vancouver went with that midfield pull off the timeout. Double team on the handler there. Now throw to the middle of the field. He's nearly D'd, but Seattle has it as Rupp with the disc now. Rupp looks for a dump. That's Dewey Valentine. Valentine to the middle of the field. Has Al Salam. Back over to Rupp on the close sideline. No mark on him. The middle of the field now. That's Dewey Valentine.
Yeah, it's Vancouver's turn to play a little bit of that, laying off. Oh, there's a big throw by Salam over the top.
Has a man in the end zone. He'll leap. And he comes down with it. What a second effort there by the big man, by Brad Hauser. It looked like he got it right before it hit the ground there, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, Hauser, such a great target going deep, always dangerous. That time he goes up early, as he is inclined to, but doesn't get it. Great presence of mind, great body control to be able to land, turn around, dive, and snatch that disc just before it hits the turf.
He was thinking about that after that drop in the end zone at the end of the first quarter where it went off his hand and he almost laid out with the second effort. So it's got to be good for Hauser to get one of those on a second effort.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is the great thing about Ultimate in general and the great thing about playing with a disc is it wants to stay in the air. And if you can keep track of it, you can find yourself second opportunities a lot.
Now Hauser, with that point, he's got 19 points on the season, so he's now one away from a coveted 20 points this year. So a big year thus far for Hauser. He's now the team's leader in goals this season with 13 as Seattle.
And you can see why. I mean, just watching this game, you can see why that's the case. So great play there, and Seattle taking the half-field pull again. Trying to exert that pressure. 6:53 left here in the second.
Yep, Seattle up 8-5. Vancouver now with a disc in their own end zone. Sasha Lowe has a dump. Now a nice throw out of the end zone. That's Nadon, I believe. Low throw, but a nice layout grab there.
Oh, Nadon gets bailed out by his teammate. He's gonna owe him a beer after the game for that one.
Certainly, and a low flick there. Has a man. I believe that's Nadon. Nadon to Lowe. Vancouver taking their time with the disc on the close sideline. Big fake flick there. That's number 3.
Whitney Brown.
Whitney Brown with it, yep. Has a man. Now on the far sideline, Vancouver working the disc. They're across midfield. Sasha Lowe with a dump.
Yeah, they're taking their time again here. Seattle's playing good downfield defense, and what we need to see is how is Vancouver going to do as this field compresses? As they near their end zone, they've been having some trouble.
Eric Hunter with a nice flick there on the close sideline. Number 7, Victor Chang with it. And here, yeah, as you said, this is where they struggle near their own end zone. As Hunter, did he get? Yeah, they say he towed the line. They'll find a dump now. It's Chang. Chang looking upfield. Tight mark on him as Chang puts it to the middle of the field. That's Hunter. And a laser into the end zone for a score. That's Nadon. He's doing a nice little dance there in the end zone, Nick.
Oh, that is a skippy yippy dance if I've ever seen one. Nice little dance moves there by Nadon.
You mentioned Skippy Yippy. Skippy, the official peanut butter of the Vancouver Nighthawks, made with the funnest peanuts ever. Skippy Yippy.
Everyone's favorite sponsor. And I know that just today I was discussing the merits of Skippy peanut butter with my children. And they were very clear on their position on the issue. We do have a difference of opinion though. I'm Team Chunky.
Yeah.
My young children definitely in the creamy camp. So
It's got a little difference there.
I think they'll grow into it. I think it's more.
It's
of
a generational thing, maybe.
I think it's an age thing. It's a maturity thing. Obviously, the more mature among us like a little chunk in their peanut butter.
Well, us millennials, you know how we are. But it looks like Vancouver's going to take a timeout, take the midfield pull here.
Nice choice of plays here by Vancouver. I think it's a good move.
Yep, looking to get back into this one. They're down 2. As that pull takes a bounce, but Seattle gets on it quickly.
Yeah, no, so Vancouver's still searching for their first break this game. So this is the big question mark that has been haunting them, all season long so far. Is even though they're getting and generating turns, they're still allowing other teams to run up points on them because they're not getting the breaks.
Well, let's see if it can come away with this one as Gusson hits Masler. Masler now looking. Couple fakes there. He puts it upfield. Oof. Oh, nearly a D there. And a big hawk to the end zone. 2 men open. A leap, a grab, and a score for Peter Ostergaard.
Yeah, Ostergaard in the end had that relatively easy. That was a nice long throw there. It didn't hang up. It didn't sit up. It came in at a bit of an angle. And the only person that was going to catch that was Ostergaard.
And that's Steve Gusson with the assist. That's his 3rd assist though so far in this game, Nick. He's really showing up for the Seattle team.
I can't tell you how great it is to see Gusson back out on the field. He was a coach for the team, and he has come back as a player. Injury kind of sidelined him for quite a long time, 2 years. And, he's been working very, very hard to get back out on the field. It's fantastic to see him back out there this year. And, I think he's been a big part of this team being what they are.
He's certainly been a big difference maker today, with those 3 assists. It's now Seattle. They'll pull right to left on your screen. Up 3 now. Pull travel into the end zone. Right on the line there as Vancouver takes over. Low with the disc. Low has a man in the middle of the field. That's Nadon. Nadon now with a couple fakes. Has a wide open man. That's Lim.
Again, we're seeing Seattle play the lanes, try to fill in, try to force Vancouver to throw a bunch of throws underneath, see if they can get them to make a mistake. That's really what it's about for them.
And now Low in a power position. Puts up a big backhand. Going to be in the end zone. Has a man. A leap, a grab, and a scoring contact for Nadon. And a big spike there, Nick.
A big spike. I don't think he liked getting his back jumped into there a little bit. And, Nadon, you saw right off the start, as soon as that disc was swung out to the outside, he was on his horse, and his horse took him all the way to the other end zone. It's Kentucky Derby Day. If Nadon had been riding that horse down there, he might be on his way to a Triple Crown. Very nice catch by him in the end zone.
And as you mentioned, didn't really like having a man on his back, but an excellent job of using his big body to box out the man behind him and put his hand in a position where he could get to the disc.
Yeah, and that's what the thrower's counting on there. If that thrower sees him going deep, sees he has a couple steps, knows that the only thing you need to do is get that out in front of him so that he can use his body position and make the catch. Really nice offensive play there from Vancouver. Much more direct, much more what we want to see out of them in terms of getting that efficiency up and getting those scores in.
Yeah, it's been a very efficient game, not only for Vancouver, but for Seattle. A lot of offense so far in this game, but as we've been talking about, no breaks for Vancouver yet. Let's see if they can get their first one here. They'll send a pull off right to left.
Yeah, we have 4:26 left here in the quarter, and we've only seen 2 breaks so far overall. So definitely a very offense-heavy game so far.
As Al Salam with it. Salam looking for a dump. Now Now back to the far sideline. That's Brink with it.
And here's where we'll see Vancouver start to press a little bit more.
As Masler hits El Salam. El Salam with a couple big fakes. He hits a man. That's Ostergaard. Ostergaard, no mark on him. Blady flick into the end zone, but a leap from El Salam and a score.
There was a good, actually, defensive switch there, and where I thought that Vancouver made a very smart move. Man dropped off his mark and followed Salam into the end zone. But in the end, the disc was just up where he's going to go and get it. And, you know, that's something that you're not going to do much about. He's very, very good in the air. Very, very good downfield cutter, and just a very good player all around for this team.
One of the best players in the MLU, listed at 5'11", but he can get up there, Nick.
He's got the springs, no question about it, and you know, also just a fun player to watch. His end zone celebrations are among the best typically in the league. That one, he seemed to head downfield to do something off camera.
I think we saw him throwing up some powder or something there. Nick couldn't see it as he went off our screen there at the end there.
He's going to be very disappointed when he goes back to the tape and finds out that happened off screen. But maybe that was a little bit of a LeBron James tribute that happened there. Seattle getting ready to pull up 3 with 3:55 left here.
Yep, and that's Harmouche with the disc. He'll send it off right to left. High pull here. It's got a lot of float to it. Let's see where this one lands. It's going to be just short as Lowe takes over. Vancouver likes having Lowe in the center of the field to start their offensive possessions, Nick.
Yeah, and that was actually an interesting start to that play. It seemed like their first cut was a little late in developing, given how long that was up in the air, and as a result, Vancouver's kind of out of their pull play. A little bit of a travel there, going to move them back to the end zone, and now they're going to have to work the disc all the way up against this very tough Seattle defense.
That's Whitney Brown with it, who traveled. Now he'll have a dump. That's Hunter. Hunter up the line to Nadon. Nadon, big flick down the field. Has a man. It's going to be a leap, but a great D there.
Oh,
That's
my goodness.
Jonathan Masler with a big-time D.
Masler gets up early, catches the trailing edge of that disc over the top. What a fantastic block. Way to hang on to it. That's how you make your Ds.
And now Seattle will work with it now after the D. A big athletic play there. It's Neely with it.
Seattle up 3, but just looking for their third break of the game here on this play.
Yeah, Vancouver's been doing a good job of recovering as we see a turnover there from the Seattle offensive line.
Yeah, defensive
offensive line.
Yeah, no, it was
another turn for Vancouver, and Seattle's going to basically get the disc where they turned it.
I was about to talk about the previous bad throw. Now I have to talk about that bad throw. That was a tough throw there. He didn't get anything that he wanted to go right on that one.
So Seattle, and they'll turn it over into the dirt.
He really, really wants a foul there, and it looks like the back judge may be ready to give it to him.
I think they're going to get, yep. So the disc is going to go
back
to the thrower, correct, Nick?
Yeah, that throw there was pretty obvious that there was some contact on that throw. You see him reach out around for a pretty simple backhand that just goes straight down into the turf. And he immediately was looking for that call, and the sideline judge didn't seem ready to give it, but the back official that trails the play was up for it.
Yeah, it was Sheridan who got fouled. I think we're going to get a timeout here. So with this break in the action, we'd like to remind you that MLU Live is brought to you by Canterbury. Canterbury, the official apparel supplier to Major League Ultimate. Dress like a pro. Visit www.canterburyus.com, the destination for all your team's custom uniforms and athletic apparel needs. Canterbury, proud partner of Major League Ultimate, committed to the game. So, Nick, we've got a score here, 10-7 in favor of Seattle. 3:55 remaining in the quarter, just about. We've seen a lot of good offense early on in this game, and we've seen a Vancouver team that struggled to get defensive breaks. They've had some opportunities on this point, actually, to get some breaks. What do they have to do to try to put those to execute on those opportunities?
You know, I mean, they're getting the opportunities. I think that's step one. What you want to see is probably just a little more of a direct attack on it. I know they didn't convert on the one that they had this quarter. They threw that long pass that was overthrown just a little bit. But I like the directness. I like the attack. I think that the Vancouver's D-line, not as confident on the disc as their O-line is, not going to want to move it around in those small passes that we see their O-line doing actually relatively successfully this game, having given up 2 breaks. But to go more direct at them, to attack more directly, I think is going to serve them well.
We got some more time, so we'd also like to remind you that today's game is brought to you by U.S. Coachways. Do you have a team trip, or corporate outing coming up? If so, charter a private bus, minibus, or party bus from busrental.com, a U.S. Coachways company. Bus travel is one of the safest, greenest, and most affordable ways to get your group to an event. If you're going with a group, trust busrental.com, enter a coupon code MLUBUS, and get additional savings and VIP treatment.
All right, well, it looks like we have about 2:04 left here in the quarter, and we're headed back out to see if Seattle can do something with this and tack another breakup on the board.
Yeah, my mistake on the time there, looking at the delayed game score on our box score is brought to us by MLU.com. As Seattle working at this now.
Yeah, always fun to follow along on the box score. I always have that open next to me when I'm watching games because you can get those stat lines in pretty quick. Those sometimes before the delay on the video feed, but so you want to be careful if you don't like spoilers.
Yes, definitely would ruin your day to see it early. As a leap in the end zone, good foot positioning, and a score there for El Salam.
Yeah, great cut there from El Salam. He gets across the field. And Seattle's able to get what in the end, after the timeout, was a relatively easy goal. I think that's a really well-used timeout. That's pretty much the way you judge a timeout, right?
Yeah. And now a big fantasy day early on for El Salam. That's his second goal, and he's got 3 assists, so 5 points early on in this game, Nick.
Yeah, great start to the game for him. You know, we've said a lot about how much this Seattle team benefits from him, and seeing him back out on the field with him is great because he's been missing for a couple weeks. This is a Seattle team that is just more complete when he's a part of it.
Certainly makes a big difference when he's out there on the field. Seattle set the pull here. They'll send it off left to right on your screen. They're up 11-7, 4 breaks. This pull travels towards the end zone. It's going to be in the middle of the end zone, so a nice pull there, but Vancouver gets on it quickly.
Nice pull, but got there a little fast, so they outran the defenders coming down the field a little bit.
As Hunter, miscommunication with his cutter, and Seattle's got an opportunity to score here.
I'm not entirely sure what Victor Chang was thinking when he made that turn there.
A nice grab there by number 12. That's Harmouche with the disc. Now back to Harmouche, as he had a dump before that. Up the line, has a man that's 18. Back around. And Seattle into the end zone, and a score there. Dylan Harrington with the score in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, Harrington gets a goal there, and a little bit of a cheap turnover there by Vancouver. And again, when you turn it over 10, 15 yards outside of your own end zone, just the recovery time. Everybody's downfield. By the time you're chasing your man back down, you're a little bit out of position. Seattle takes advantage of it with a little bit back and forth and is able to get what in the end is a relatively easy break, bringing it up to 4 breaks for the game so far.
Yep, that's the 4th break for Seattle. As we mentioned, none yet for Vancouver. Vancouver will get the disc here off this pull. They're trailing 12-7. Just under a minute remaining before the half. This is a big point for Vancouver. They would like to cut into that lead Seattle has, get it down to 4 before halftime. Every point matters here in the MLU.
Every point matters. Yeah, no, this is a really actually pretty big point for Vancouver because it's going to change the tenor of their locker room talk. So how they handle themselves here at the end, if they can get another one on the board before going into halftime, they're going to feel a lot better about their chances coming out in the second half.
Yep, a lot of men back for Vancouver. It looks like they have a couple handlers in this set. Now it's right in the middle of the field. It's Nadon as a man on the far sideline. Back to Nadon in the middle. Now they're close to sideline. That's Whitney Brown with a big flick fake there. He gets Eric Hunter. Hunter has Nadon with a leap, and Nadon to a wide open man in the end zone. It'll hang, but his man comes down with it for a score. Victor Chang in the end zone, and that's a big point for Vancouver, Nick.
Very big point. Exactly what they needed, and, Nadon was almost every other at that point. Mm-hmm. Back to get the dump, back underneath, then down the sideline, then a nice throw. Yeah, a little floaty out to space, made him work a little bit, but, as fans, we like that kind of thing anyway, so very exciting. Yeah, very nice bit of play there by Vancouver. Exactly what they needed, as you said.
Yeah, that's what you like to see from your man, your player to watch, Nadon. That's his first assist today, but he also has 3 goals. So he's having a big fantasy day too. Him and El Salam, the leading stat getters in today's game. So that makes the score 12-8 in favor of Seattle. We got 22 seconds remaining here in the quarter. What are your strategies here defensively for Vancouver, maybe to keep Seattle out of the end zone, and then offensively for Seattle to get into the end zone with just 22 seconds?
Yeah, you want to disrupt that pull play because that's what they want to do right now. They have a play that they're going to try to run, and you want to get in. You want to get down there, you want to get in the way. So the first thing they're going to do is probably play something that's a little bit junky, a little hang off there.
Yep.
See if they can, almost step in front and get a quick one.
And it looks like we've got a lot of defenders back, defending against the big throw here for Vancouver, as all their defenders are starting to streak towards the end zone now.
Yeah.
Seattle getting it towards midfield. They're going to have to put one up soon. A big backhand to the left side of the end zone. There's a man, but it's just going to be too far. It's blocked there by number 37 for Vancouver. That's Mitchell Dazzy-Daigle, and that's going to send us to halftime with our score 12-8 in favor of Seattle.
Great half there, from both teams. I actually think there was a lot of good stuff from both teams in there. Vancouver's going to be pretty happy about the way that they ended that quarter, even though, again, they weren't able to get a win. They lost both quarters 6-4. So in the second half, they're going to have to come out, and they're actually going to have to start recording some breaks on that board. And that's really going to be the test. So when they get back out there for the beginning of the next half, an early break or two will really change the tenor of this game. If it stays like it is with an occasional break by Seattle, Vancouver is just going to be chasing the whole time. So we'll look for them to go into the locker room and come back out with some renewed vigor on defense.
All right, yep. And that'll bring us to halftime. We're going to go to commercial, and we'll see you. We'll show you some highlights, and we'll be right back.
Stevens is a tight one, and Terry Robb
How much time are we doing halftime?
lays out and rips it down.
That was
Wow.
a fantastic catch.
And now Foster will send a flick to Hirschberger, and Johnson comes over and knocks it down. Blake pretty much brings the disc to midfield, and now he's going to look towards the end zone. It should carry for Delrico Johnson, and that is how you take advantage of a timeout. Grab there for Jay Clark, and Clark a hammer, and gets just enough of it to Tyler Chan. Grabbing it.
Healy.
Yep. And Healy looking for a call, but it's just a clean block from Terry Roth. Davis Whitehead. Interesting throw. Instead they put it up to Richards. Richards will air it out. And Healy bobbles it and holds on to it. Hucks it over to Miner, gets it right on the goal line. Miner floats it up to space, a layout bid, it's still up in the air, tipped around again, and finally knocked down by Boston. And now Hooker will just look to put it right in. It's going to float, and Lloyd Blake with that long arm. If those two are involved in the point, which as Johnson puts it up to space, Blake running it down, but it's going to be Flores, and it carries all the way into the end zone. So Boston will take it back, close to midfield, 10 yards away. Hooker sends it up to Foster, and look at the speed here down at the other end as Ben Katz.
Boston player managed to defend the guy who was on the tip, and now we've got a big look deep.
Hirschberger and Stevens are looking to connect to Stevens, and a good defensive play from Kerr. Miner, 2 players back for DC. Boston hacks at it. They're just shy of the end zone. Quickly up to Flores. And
Love
Blake's
that
got
pass.
that one too.
It was a pretty little pass there.
Good defense downfield for DC. Boston just dumping it back between Hartwiger and Inselman.
And while Boston has the wind at their back,
There it is. Martenstein, the hammer into the end zone. Miner with a layout, one-handed grab. Eric Astro Miner by his standards. Now Taylor will look to put it in the end zone. Inselman's going to lay out, and he's got it. Brau puts it up to Khalifa. And then Khalifa sends it deep. Johnson trying to beat out Richardson, and that look routine for Delrico Johnson too. Great put.
not
Blake's
really the guy
all
you want to
alone,
leave open.
yeah, and he gets his flick off to the end zone, and Johnson beats Hirschberger to the front pylon.
They have 5 players in the end zone with 6 offensive players for Boston. Here's the hammer, trying to pick a
Puts up
spot.
the hammer, and it's caught. Boston's got it. Wow, what a play there to finish the third quarter. And Blake puts it up.
Johnson towing the line. Compton in the middle of the field. Again, one throw away, looking for Mott. They find Zoo. Zoo, another layout catch, and the easy throw into the end zone, finding the breaking Stephen Willis. And reset. Now Salmi will have to jump up to get it. Now they're one throw away. Dangerous throw there, and a Sky with the right hand up over the defender for the goal.
They're just making good space at the moment.
And there's the crossfield throw intended for the end zone. Brownlee on the wrong side of the man. They've already had 3 breaks, and they're trying to use the midfield pull to their advantage. But here's Mott on the huck. There's 2 Rumble players down. The current trying to take advantage of it. Now Compton wide open in the end zone.
And now New York has a break opportunity.
And Weidhart was right in the middle. Blake almost gets it back from Brownlee, so Brownlee just lets it fly. This one's going to float some. 3 black shirts behind. And the one man, Delrico Johnson, able to catch up to it. I think he got a piece of it. And Benjamin Nichols from the University of Buffalo.
That throw needed to be perfect in order to beat this triple coverage, and it wasn't. Delrico Johnson got up there, got a little bit of the disc, whether it was on the rim or not. Ended up making contact, but it was certainly not an intentional sort of play.
Healy to Flores. The disc floating, and just enough. As it looks like he's all right. And getting the D there was Christian Doez.
I think that's one of the best things you can have for a downfield receiver.
There's Canetti, and Sisto is able to keep both feet in.
Slicing across the field at the same time, at the same angle.
As Sai throwing it up, getting to it, Misa the first effort. We expected that here, where the spinners really do break you down with 7-on-7. As another layout there in the end zone. I know the referee on the near sideline was the one who made the call, so Lee's able to track it down. See if Lee takes a shot downfield. It's Healy defending, and Healy able to not only get the D, but make the catch too.
Well, you can string together 6 or 7 throws if you try to.
But O'Connor just wants one all the way downfield. A 50-50 ball in the end zone. Brownlee comes down with it. A horde of green and black bodies, and Marquez Brownlee brings his team back within 3 as we head into the break, 11-8. This is a long, long layout there as they're going one-on-one. Sisto in the end zone. He's the man with position, and he is the man to bring it down, but not yet in the end zone. Now one throw away, they reset, and then having to lay out and able to hold on was Marquez Brownlee. Working it up that sideline. Now Lloyd Blake, the hammer up over the top. It was just low enough for Sean Mott to make a bid. Right back to Canetti. We've got another huck here. Compton has position. Again, there are 3 black shirts, but Compton read it the whole way.
Came out with a vertical stack there, and Brownlee aggressively pushed deep with Kerr as his defender and then beat him back underneath.
Good throw by Zoo. Can Zoo find Mott? And Mott, he's made some more difficult plays even today. As Lloyd Blake had a man on the far sideline, getting it right back with Scott Zoo. Thought was a foul against Khalifa. Instead, it was a foul against Mott. And a layout there might have sealed this one.
They're not hustling to the disc. They need to make plays now. They're running out of time.
And there's Delrico Johnson, able to get the block the other way. I think it was the Ferraro block, and just again, plenty of defense here.
So Portland will take over again here. Oh, a dangerous throw near the end zone, but number 30 comes away with it. That's Sam Frainer. And a nice layout grab there by number 4, Eli Blackman. Number 16, Tad Jensen, has a man on the far sideline. Ralph Hayes puts up a flick hook down the field. He's got 2 men, a leap, and a score. Excellent offense there by Portland. Fakes a flick, has a man up the line, hits him. That's low with the disc. Puts up a hammer towards the end zone, and he has a man wide open for a score. That's Hunter looking with that flick. He puts it up deep down the field, has a man streaking for it, and a sliding grab and a score there, Nick. Lowe has it again. It's a tight mark on him. Ooh, an excellent around there, though, by Lowe as he gets it to Hunter. Hunter to his man. Oh, is it going to be wow, that is just unfortunate as number 22, Grant Cole, almost came out with a layout D, but it bounced right back to Vancouver there.
And you know what his sideline's going to be telling him when he gets over there. You got to catch your blocks.
Now a huck goes up into the end zone. A nice grab in the back of the end zone for the score there, Nick. Woodside with the disc. Throws it towards the end zone. A leap, and it's going to be Deed. Vancouver working in their own end zone. Dangerous throw, but a nice sliding grab there. Ponte going up line for him. Chan hit. Oh, doesn't hit him as a great layout D there.
Bjorklund is big and strong and hard to get around, and he just keeps his body in the right spot and gets it. Oh, that's a big block there, though.
Gilchrist looks off a man. Looks for a backhand now. Oh, that's going to be a turn. And Portland's going to try to convert here.
That's a tough time for a giveaway. 10 seconds left.
As number 16, Jensen, puts it towards the end zone. He's got a man, and that's a score for Portland. 5 seconds remaining in the half. 4, 3. Hammer goes up into the end zone, and it is D'd there by Portland. An excellent defensive play, Nick.
The kinds of touches that he needs. So right now, it's good. He's a 1.6 touches per offensive possession.
And Portland scores quickly here as you're finishing up the profile there, Nick.
Yeah, not afraid to throw it around, not afraid to move it around. The problem for them is going to be one of the clock eventually, though.
As that looked like a lefty backhand, and it's D'd there.
They decided to make me wrong.
As Lowe puts up a hammer towards the end zone, has a man, and he's just short. Big fake on the backhand at 17. Eric Hunter puts an IO flick into the end zone, and that is a score for number 40, Philip Davidson.
Yeah, making it tough on the. Oh, that's a nice around throw.
Oh, and a nice layout grab there. So Vancouver being very, very patient with the disc. A low throw there, but a nice grab there to keep it off the ground. That's Eric Hunter. He throws up a big hammer into the end zone, and it's a score. What a throw there, Nick. The close sideline. Bjorklund with it. He throws up a hammer to the same end zone. Has a man, a leaping grab. It's short of the end zone. Has time. Throws it for a score. And Bjorklund says, anything you could do, I could do better. Portland taking it up. Risky throw.
Yeah, not as risky when you have Bjorklund there. I feel like you can just float that up. He's going to box out and get it.
And now
Big
Bjorklund
play.
puts it down the field. It's going to float. And it's an excellent D there for Vancouver. A high throw on the backhand. It's going to be, no, it's not D. A nice leaping grab there for Aponte. Gets it upfield. They're working it. I believe that's Low with the disc. Back to Aponte. Aponte puts a flick forward. Oh, what a layout D there for Portland. On the dump. Flick to the middle of the field. That's 17. Rafi Hayes puts it deep. Has a man with space. He leaps. And an excellent grab for the score. Brandon Lafferty skies his man in the end zone.
That throw floated a little bit and allowed it to be contested, but he was still a very open man deep. That is a great block up line, but that was a very, very hard landing, and that could have been what happened there. Or it may have been a pick downfield. I didn't see.
So now a laser beam of a Huck. Good defensive play there, though, by number 11, Melius.
Not a good throw there from the Rainmakers. Not a good throw there from the Nighthawks either. Barber sends one up. Neely, wow, reaching in. Another double team. I like this strategy by the Nighthawks, adding some pressure. That one goes up and is swatted down by Davidson.
The coaches are allowed to decide that they can sacrifice a timeout instead of using the timeout for a timeout. Use it to get the pull from half field.
Jesperson, that's a Callahan. Nice pressure there from Dazzy Daigle. And then Tridiak puts one up in the end zone. And Robin Breen toes the line.
And Johnny Stacy's going to make Cam Bailey get up.
Oh, and it's a Rainmakers tie. Diener taking the goal, claiming it. Harbor. Off McKibben. Wow, nice D there.
A shot.
Maybe could have gotten it. He kind of questioned his own decision to get out there and dive. Danny
Shot going
Tridiak,
up.
nice flick out in front of Hauser. A little bit of chance to catch up, but no, Hauser's able to bring it in.
You got it. As you see Seattle responding, there's Johnny Stacy.
Oh, wow. Nice D from Stacy. None comes. Big throw goes up to Jesperson.
Battle Jesperson.
Wow. Klein winds up, throws a fake downfield to Jesperson, who turns the corner, comes under, but is D'd in the lane. Sails out the back. And here's a lofty flick. That'll come right down in the hands of Eddie Feely, who turns around, launches one back in quickly to Harmouche.
Little luck there as Klein saves.
Saves and launches to Bailey. Bailey loves this sort of thing and gets it. Barber on the line. Barber opts for a hammer over Ostergaard. That's Hunter.
It's going to work for a break.
And now the Rainmakers will try to bring it break. Henry Fan looks downfield, sees Klein out in front. Klein sneaks by Nadon for a goal. Here's Matt Neely, one out in front to Cam Bailey, but here's the words from Beener behind him.
The Rainmakers are up on the Nighthawks 12-8, but we've got some time now at half to review our keys to this game. So, Nick, let's go back to the keys to the game.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of chance to talk about our keys to the game in the beginning. They got started right on time there, and we did not, apparently. When we talk about Seattle, we were looking at binary results. They were 0-2 versus Portland. They're 2-0 versus Vancouver. They're trying to go 3-0 versus Vancouver, and that's going to help them win the series. And so they play Vancouver 4 times throughout the course of the year, and if they're able to win today, they can lock in a winning record against them. And so that's a big part of what they're doing out here today. They've already lost the season series against Portland, so winning the one against Vancouver is going to balance that out for them. Haven't played San Francisco yet. They will soon. And then they've outscored them 47-28, and that's a big margin. So they've outscored the Nighthawks by 19 points. For the Nighthawks, they got to get up off that thing. They got to trade fear for freedom, meaning they got to play loose, they got to play fast, and they got to attack the Seattle offense. And so we've watched this game as we're looking at those keys, and so far, the thing that we've not seen for Vancouver is their ability to attack that Seattle offense, the ability to hurt that Seattle offense. They've taken the disc away from them, but they haven't drawn any blood.
Well, we'll see the Vancouver offense back out on the field here to start the half as Seattle sends it all right to left on your screen. A nice floaty pull here, just short of the end zone. Vancouver takes over. Get it to Lowe as they always do. Now Lowe hits Lim on the close sideline. Lim with a flick. Has his man.
The job here for Vancouver is to get their defense back out on the field. Give them a chance to get that break that they need so badly.
They got to score here first, though, Nick.
Exactly.
That's Hunter with it into a power position, but doesn't put it up. Now he looks for a dunk. As a man, that's Whitney Brown with it. Over to Lowe. Lowe to the far sideline, hits a man. A backhand into the end zone. Lowe gets it, gets his foot down, and that's going to be a score. But an excellent throw there on the sideline, Nick.
Very nice throw up the sideline all the way around to the back corner. I mean, the Seattle defensively played that pretty well. There was a defender that came off and was looking to cut that throw off. Anything but a perfect throw would not have worked there.
Yeah, I believe that was number 23, Ener Lim with the throw. He stepped out, put a nice backhand around the mark, and just a great throw out in front to his man Lowe there. A big point for them. But as you were talking about, and as we've been talking about all game, let's see if they can come out and get a break here.
That's the key, right? They came out, they got a point there early. Their offense clicked over, moved it down the field. Little, tight quarters and about midfield, but then they swung that disc all the way around to the other side, changed the angle of attack, nice little throw up the sideline. Now it's all about the defense.
We'll see him here for the first time in the half as this pull goes right to left on your screen. Kind of a low pull, just short of Vancouver and of the Seattle end zone as they take over. Seattle working it now. On the far sideline. That's Ostergaard, gets it back to a man. Now over to the close sideline. Couple fakes there, but a flick to El Salam. Salam with a flick now. That's Gussin. Gussin has a man. But a drop here. And let's see if Vancouver can convert. Oh, wait, it might be a strip call.
Oh, I do not know about that call. I got to say that I think the defender got to that disc first, got a hand on it, and then it looked like that was the offensive player kind of coming into the back of him there. So I think maybe the Nighthawks got a bad break on that one.
That might be a bad break as Seattle with this now. El Salam has a man right in front of the end zone, just 5 yards short of it. That's 31. Dewey Valentine has a man. 0-0, Rupp puts it in the end zone and has a wide open Gussin, so maybe a bad break there in that call for Vancouver, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job. They got the disc. I really think the defender was there first, though. It's hard to tell without the benefit of replay. We don't have that here on this stream today, but. Vancouver's, it's okay. You got to shake that off. Your offense is going to come back out. They're going to go down the field. You got to believe they're going to go down the field. They're going to get you back out there, and you're going to get that disc next time.
Yeah, offense certainly hasn't been a problem for Vancouver today. They're scoring, not at will, but a lot easier than they have in the past, and it's certainly good to see at least one of their lines is working very effectively today.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't quite say it hasn't been a problem, but they've given up just 4 breaks today, which is less than we've seen over the past few weeks. We'll see if they're able to kind of keep on pace here. It's all about now their D-line. That's what it's really going to come down to, obviously, because without getting some breaks to get back, they're not going to have any chance. So getting their D-line out on the field, letting them go to work, and hopefully they can put some points on the board finally.
Yep, as Nadon with a nice catch there in traffic and dumped it to low. Vancouver working it. That's Chang with the disc. Chang, a couple fakes. Has a man on the close sideline, Eric Hunter, in a power position with an upline there. That's low. Has Chang. Chang back around to a man. That's Nadon. Nadon now. Opposite side of the field, Whitney Brown. Brown, flick to the sideline, has Low. Low with a loose mark on him. He has time.
Nice confidence and composure here from Vancouver's offense.
Certainly taking their time with it. As Low puts it up to a man. That's, I believe, Hunter with the disc. Hunter. A nice flick into the end zone for a score, and that's Chang, Victor Chang. And, he hasn't done a lot statistically, but Chang's really doing the little things here today, Nick.
He's starting to put those stats up on the board a little bit more. He's got 2 goals and an assist now. He's definitely been a big part of how this offense is clicking over. And, clicking over is the right word. That was just some pretty confident, composed, organized offense. They moved the disc up the field. They didn't ever look like they were in any trouble. They didn't let themselves get flustered. Seattle was still playing pretty tight defense, but Vancouver can handle it. And I think that's a big part of how this team has matured already at this point in the season. Yeah, they haven't won games yet, but we knew that they were going to struggle with that a little bit as young as they are and with the chemistry that they have. But they've matured a lot in their ability to move down the field without mistakes and get to the end zone, and I think that's gonna help the confidence of this team a lot. The next step is getting those breaks.
They gotta improve their defenses. This pull could be a short pull here as it goes out of bounds.
Lost a handle on that one, so Seattle will start with the disc in the middle of the field. Looked like for a second there they were going to have him start on the sideline, which would have definitely irritated all the Seattle fans out there.
Now Seattle with it. Working off that brick. That's Gussin with the disc. Tight mark on him. Gussin. Looking. High stall count, but he has a man there. Yeah, but I think they're going to say that the stall count ran out.
They got it looks like they did get a stall on him. Yep, there you go. The ref. I was going to say, they're not restarting that in the appropriate place, but good on the officials for getting up there, pointing out the right spot, and getting us restarted again.
Aaron Chan hits a dump. Back to Chan. Chan in the middle of the field. That's his man. Oh, a low flick. What a nice grab. And now a throw into the end zone. And it's going to be a score. And that, my friends, is the first break of the game for the Vancouver Nighthawks.
The first break of the game. I didn't say it, and I'm going to feel a little vindicated that I did. But I was going to say maybe now's a good time to call a timeout and get that O-line out on the field to punch this in. But good on the defense, getting that score, and that is a big deal right now in this game. That is a huge break for them. Moves them within a couple of points here of the Seattle Rainmakers for the first time in a long time. And now, can they continue? Can they roll on it? And they're going to try. They're going to move up the half field.
But I think it's interesting, Nick. So we weren't able to see them get a break the entire game, but on their worst pull of the entire game, they get a break.
Yeah, maybe that's the secret for them. Just pull it out of bounds.
They should just drop it in midfield and play defense.
Pull it out of bounds, set up on the brick, and get into the defense. It is interesting. We talk a lot about polls and a lot about the choices that teams make, and sometimes it is those short pulls that actually take the opposing offense out of their rhythm, because they have plays set up for your pull down the middle of the day. They have plays set up for when they start, and when they're starting from a dead standstill, sometimes that can be a little more difficult.
As this pull travels left side on your screen, takes a bounce. Seattle handles it well.
Well fielded there.
A lot of men there down the field though early for Vancouver.
That was very well fielded, but Vancouver did let them off the hook a little bit. Their double team was leaving a guy on the open side open that time, which is not really what you want.
As Mazur catches that big hammer, he gets it back around. Now on the far sideline. That's Ostergaard with it. Excuse me, that was El Salam with it. A low throw, but a good grab there. And now a flick down the sideline. House puts up a hammer into the end zone, has a wide open man for a score.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver was sort of throwing everything to the front lines, and then once Seattle was able to break through, they had a lot of trouble catching up and getting their assignments back. And you saw there the unassigned man waiting on the far side of the field for that towering hammer. They talk about rainmakers. That hammer brought some rain down with it, I think.
That was Hauser on the throwing end, and that unassigned man you're talking about, Peter Ostergaard, with the score. So that makes it 14-11 here. Seattle out in front still on Vancouver. Vancouver will get the disc on this pull. Seattle's going to send it left to right.
3-point advantage here with 6:01 left in the third quarter.
It's certainly been, though, a good game for Vancouver. This is the closest we've seen them play a team this late in a game.
Yeah, and it's, you know, how they bring this game home is going to be the big thing. Right now they're leading this quarter 3-2. So being able to take this quarter would be a huge thing, and then we'll get some real excitement there in the fourth.
So short pull here as Vancouver takes over. Low with it. Vancouver trying to make this game exciting, as you were mentioning. Could be a good one in the fourth. Nice grab there by Whitney Brown. He puts it up ahead, has a man.
That was very high stalk out there for Lowe, who manages to get it away.
Hunter flips it over to the defense, has Nate on the sideline. Nate swings it back to Hunter. Hunter to Lowe. Lowe fakes a backhand up the field. Now he looks. Looking for a dump. Puts up a high release flick. Nice grab there by Whitney Brown. Couple fakes. Gets it back over to Lowe. Lowe now. Dangerous throw, but Nadon comes up with it. Nadon now has a man.
That was a nice bid there by Neely.
Yeah, good defensive effort here by Seattle, but Vancouver being very, very patient with the disc, as we're getting used to seeing that from them. As Nadon gets it over to Whitney Brown. Brown has a man. Low throw. Oh, he's not going to come up with it. It's going to be a turnover, and Seattle will take over.
That was the play they wanted there. Had the man open, just couldn't connect the throw. So now the Vancouver O-line's got to step up on defense.
Yep, we'll see Seattle with it now. Let's see if that O-line can get that disc back for Vancouver. Number 29 with the disc. That's Feely. He gets it to a man. That's Sheridan. No mark on him. He'll dump it. It's Fan. To the sideline. That's Neely. Neely, throw towards the end zone, but it's going to be Deed. No one there, and Eric Hunter gets the block.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little miscommunication there. Neely may have thought that cut was going hard there, and it did not.
A big backhand towards the end zone. Just too far for Nadon to come up with, and it's going to be another turn for this Vancouver offense.
Yeah, that is a...
Oh, but a quick turnover here for Seattle.
I'm not even sure what happened there. Seattle looked like he tried to throw something really casual there out of the end zone, and it may have just slipped off his hand. That was a very strange play.
Nadon with a flick to the middle of the field. Yeah, just looked like a big miscommunication. And Vancouver's got an excellent opportunity, but Nadon just overthrows his man. That was a great opportunity to cash in on a turnover right on your goal line. But Nadon just cannot hit his man. I think that was Victor Chang. He overthrew him.
I am not entirely sure what's happened at this point. It has been much sloppier at this point than it's been the entire rest of the game. Both these teams, yep, I had a feeling we were going to see a timeout there. Both these teams needed to calm down for a minute. Think about what's going on, and look at, you can see him walking off the field. That was Matt Neely there. He had a couple of bad throwaways at that point, and you see as he was walking off the field, he pulled his headband down over his eyes. Just didn't want to even look at anybody around him.
Can't blame him, but a nice call of a timeout there. It was a much-needed timeout, not just for Seattle, but for both these teams, really. Just looked like a lack of focus on that play. So this timeout is going to be brought to you by Canterbury. Canterbury is proud to power your game, and as the official apparel sponsor for Major League Ultimate, visit www.canterburyus.com today, the destination for your team's custom uniforms. Canterbury, committed to Ultimate. So we talked about the timing of that break in the game. A veteran timeout call there.
Yeah, I mean, it was so obvious that a timeout needed to be called by one team or another. The number of errant throws in that point were pretty phenomenal. So right now it's going to be interesting to see. You know that Seattle's going to throw their O-line out there and go ahead and try to get that break back that they lost at the beginning of this quarter. The question is from the Vancouver side, are you going to throw your regular D-line out? Are you going to mix things up a little bit? So it'll be interesting to see how both teams come out here.
Interesting to see, and it's also going to be interesting if this game stays close as we get towards the end of the game, how that timeout affects pulls at the end of the game, because we usually see teams trying to save that to set up those midfield pulls at the end, try to pin teams close to their own end zone. So that might have an effect at the end of the game.
Yeah, that is a big part of the strategy. You know, you want all of your timeouts to count. Whether they're counting to give you that midfield pull opportunity, or whether they're counting to slow things down, put some new people on the field, and get the goal that you need. So Seattle called the timeout in the first half. That was very effective. They came out of the timeout with their O-line fresh off the bench and were able to quickly punch it in. Be interested to see if they can do the same thing here.
Yep. As they'll take over with the dish just in front of their own end zone. That's number 31. He puts it up to a man. That's Gusson. Puts it down the field. Has a man, a layout, but he cannot come up with it. That was Hauser. Had some space. Throw was just a little too far.
That would have been a spectacular catch if Hauser had been able to get a hand on that. He certainly gave it his all. Wasn't able to do it.
And now a big flick down the sideline. Oh, did he stay in bounds? No, he didn't. And that's going to be a turnover. But a nice try there by Aaron Chan. Almost dragged his toe for the catch.
Great effort there from Chan.
And now throw into the end zone. Nearly a Callahan there for Vancouver, but they'll take over. Look to execute here. They got time, and that's going to be a score. That's number 13, Kevin Chu with the score, and that is a big point for Vancouver.
Yeah, it was just a hold for them, but it was a hard-earned hold and one that they needed to do. That's the kind of plays that you need to make happen. Chu there had an opportunity at a Callahan that I don't even think he realized he had. He's going to go back and look at that tape and realize he should have thrown himself at that distance.
Yeah.
Given it a chance. Callahan, now you're getting the pullback.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's a really big deal, and it's hard to tell from this angle, of course, and we're sitting here comfortable in a studio in our nice little chairs, you know, easy to make these sorts of decisions.
Yeah.
It looked to me like he had a chance at that, and he just needed to leave his feet and have a go. But still, very big point there from Vancouver. Getting themselves, you know, keeping that hold, keeping that extra break that they've won this quarter. Now they can go chase another and see if they can get within one.
And maybe that gives their D-line a little bit of momentum. I know that they started out that possession with the disc, but that was really a lot of their defensive players out on the field trying to force a turnover for the Seattle team that had called the timeout after a turnover.
Yeah, and you have to remind, I mean, Seattle's play call was perfect out of that timeout. It was just Gusson could not quite control that throw downfield. Got away from him a little bit.
As Seattle with it now. It's El Salam with it, guarded loosely. He hits Hauser. Hauser back to the middle of the field. That's Masler. Masler to the far sideline. Has a Rupp. Rupp with a flick to the far sideline. El Salam now. Puts up a big backhand. He's got a man wide open in the end zone. And it's going to be an easy score for the big man. That's Isaac Entz in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, I don't know how Entz got that open on that play. You know, we know that Seattle has a tendency to look for those deep shots. You know that's what they want as they move up the field. How do you let him escape you in the end zone that way? I mean, he's a big guy. He's not particularly known for his handling capabilities. He's the kind of player that generally you want to force underneath. You know, we can't see it from where we're sitting now, but I got to assume it was just I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say it was a phenomenal cut. Just a phenomenal cut. Shook his defender, got him open in the end zone. Nice throw there to pick him out from El Salam.
He's certainly a big-time mismatch. You look at this Vancouver roster, their tallest player listed at 6'3" is Mitchell Dagel. So the 6'6" Entz is just, you know, a matchup nightmare, especially going downfield, Nick.
Absolutely. And, you know, Seattle knows how to use it. A great play there. Great throw, great cut. Very strong offense from Seattle.
Now Seattle pulls it left to right, goes into Vancouver's end zone. They'll take over. That's Chang with the disc, as we see someone other than Lowe for the first time handling on the offense at the beginning of the possession.
And
now Whitney Brown.
Vancouver's offense set up very far downfield that time. There's a big throw going down.
Man open, in space, a leap, but an excellent D, and he wants a strip there. Is he going to get it, Nick? I think he is.
He is going to get the strip there. I did not think he would.
Now Chang a
And
blade, but a great layout grab there for the score. Oh, is there a call?
I'm not
I
entirely
think they're
sure.
sending it back. That was an unbelievable effort by Justin Chan catching that disc just before it hit the ground, but I think we're getting a travel call here.
Yep, looked like a travel call, maybe even a delay of game for taking the throw from the wrong position after that call.
And now we got another call here. With restart, Nick?
Yeah, they're gonna take a second, make sure the right time is on the clock, I think. That way, I mean, you can't take anything away from that catch, though. What a phenomenal catch.
It's so good. It's still going to be in the highlights.
It's still going to be in the highlights. Didn't count for anything, but that's a highlight.
That was a top 10 right there.
Yeah. Top 10 catch that ended up going back for a redo. So we'll see what's happening here. It looks like the officials are still trying to figure out exactly what is going on. I'm going to, our guess is a timing issue from where we sit, but, that's a few thousand miles away. So we'll admit that we might be wrong.
Yeah. We got some time. I'd like to take this time to remind you that this broadcast is brought to you by Innova. Innova is proud to support Major League Ultimate and its incredible athletes. As the official disc of MLU, the Innova Pulsar has quickly become the disc of choice at Ultimate's highest level. Visit InnovaDisc.com to find a dealer near you. As the possession starts again, Whitney Brown takes the dump. He flicks it to the far sideline. As his man, that's 61 Chan. He had that great grab. He'll put it in the end zone, and it's going to be a score there. Eric Hunter with the grab, and that's redemption there, Nick, for Chan.
Redemption for Chan, very nicely done. Couple of Seattle players had an opportunity there for a block, particularly a really, really big bid right at the sideline. I'm not sure who that was. I'm trying to pick out his number here as he runs back. Looks like it might have been Masler who had a go at it there. Just couldn't quite get to it. So nice work there from Vancouver. Their O-line doing the job again. And, doing a nice job overall in this quarter. Still up a break this quarter.
Yep. And that's Eric Hunter with another score here. That's his second goal today. He also has 2 assists and a block. We mentioned him earlier before. He's just having a tremendous season here for Vancouver. He's their points leader. He's got 26 this season. He's also their goals leader with 15. So a phenomenal year thus far for Eric Hunter, the veteran. And he's been a true leader for this Vancouver team.
It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I said this on the last broadcast. We did had an opportunity to sit down and have a bite to eat with him and Graham Barber when I was out in Vancouver during the preseason. And just a great couple of guys, a really good couple. Oh, there's a big throw deep.
That's from Hauser into the end zone. Has a man and a great leaping grab from Ostergaard as he boxed out his man for the score.
Yeah, Ostergaard is just, he finds himself some little bits of space, and his teammates know that, all right, we can just put it up there. There's a little bit of room there for Ostergaard. That's enough room, and he's going to go up and get the disc. A great catch there in traffic.
Yeah, certainly, a lot of contact there on his back, but just an excellent job of positioning. Looked like he slowed down a little bit, Nick. Slowed down just to get the positioning and then jumped on the throw as it was coming down towards his hand.
Yeah, I mean, he's reading at a 12th grader level, no doubt about it. And he does a great job of finding where that disc is going to end up and going up and getting it at its highest point. I got to learn with the Seattle offense that I can't tell my stories because they get started too quickly. They go right down the field.
I mean, by the time you were beginning, they were halfway. They were at midfield.
I'm just trying to fill some space here, and they're calling me out. Here's an interesting poll.
Rolls there. A good poll, kind of effective, has caught Vancouver by surprise.
It's kind of funny. I don't think that did what he wanted it to. I think he was trying to roll that out of bounds, and it just sat on its edge and stayed in for him.
So Vancouver takes over. It's Chang. Gets it to Hunter. Hunter to the middle of the field. That's Nadon. Nadon double teams, but he finds the wide open man low. Low to the sideline. Whitney Brown, big fake, has the man on the sideline, and now a flick into the end zone. It's got some float to it. It's going to be a jump in the end zone. Oh, what a grab there by Victor Chang! Jumps over 2 defenders and comes down with it for the score.
Great catch there by Chang. He goes up, finds the trailing edge of the disc, and just snags it out of the air. I love that kind of catch. A little bit of contact at the end of the play, but nothing dangerous. They all come down in a heap, and Chang comes up with the goal.
And that is a big time play for the little man, Victor Chang. Just just listed at 5'7" here on our roster sheets, Nick.
5'7" when he's standing on the ground, and a lot taller when he's up in the air. Very, very big catch there from Chang. A little bit of a float on that pass, but he makes it, he makes it look like something he does every day.
And that's it's got to excite this Vancouver team. They're down by just 2 here as we're nearing the end of the third quarter. They've got an opportunity, Nick, to get their first win of the game, and that's got to psych you up if you're on this Vancouver team.
It's a really big quarter for them. They really will come out of this quarter feeling pretty good if they can stop Seattle from scoring here with 18 seconds left.
Yep, they've outscored Seattle by 2 points here. This would be big to keep them out of the end zone, as you mentioned. Pull traveling left to right. It's going to land in Seattle's end zone, but they'll take over. That's number 88, Masler, with it. No mark on him. Masler to the middle of the field with a blady flick. Hits a man. Oh, nearly dropped there. Nearly hit the ground, but Gusson puts it up into the end zone. Has a man in the back of the end zone. It's going to be a jump disc. And no one's going to come down with it. A great defensive effort there by number 22, Russell Hamilton, and that is going to be the end of the third quarter.
Great play there by Hamilton, so necessary. You know why he's in there, standing up at 6'6". Hamilton's going to come in. And I was going to bring that up to you before. You mentioned that at 6'3", Mitchie Dalzadega was their tallest guy, but Hamilton, is their specialist at the end of the games there.
Oh, it looks like we got some time left as a big throw goes up from Hunter. It's going to be short of the end zone.
Yeah, that's not going to matter at the end of the quarter there.
But our apologies, we don't really have the clock here on our screen. So with that throw, it brings us to the end of the third quarter. The score here is 16-14. Seattle's up over Vancouver. But it's been an exciting one. We're going to take a commercial break, but we'll be right back with the fourth quarter action for to the rest of this game.
It was a huge loss. I just decided to launch and try to get it.
I knew if I went up early enough, I could get it.
And all of a sudden, there are feet kind of above heads.
Does it all come back to this loss? Does it all come back to this play?
If I had 4 hands, I would put all 4 hands on it.
It was up the other line. They had to deliver.
Boston kept doing this thing that you didn't think was possible.
Quarter action of today's game between the Seattle Rainmakers and the Vancouver Nighthawks. Certainly been an exciting one thus far here, Nick. 16-14 in favor of Seattle, but this is really the best I think we've seen Vancouver play thus far this season.
Yep, they've improved every single game that they've come out, and yeah, this is definitely a huge improvement for them. They managed to win that last quarter, which is a very big deal for them, and they're growing into this game. So they're down just 2 now, 1 more quarter left to play. Basically, the quarters are broken out. Quarter 1, Seattle won 6-4. Quarter 2, Seattle won 6-4, and then quarter 3, Vancouver won 6-4. So if Vancouver can just win this next one 6-4, we're going to overtime, and I'm going to be even later getting home tonight than I thought I was.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I hope that the subways are running late tonight for that. But it's been an exciting one. Vancouver in search of their first win. They're 0-5, as we mentioned at the beginning of the game. In Seattle, they're 2-2. This would be a big win for them if they could come up with it. It would give them some separation between the San Francisco Dogfish, who lost today. They're 1-2 on the season. So Seattle needs this one for second place standings out in the West. If they lose, they'll be tied. If they win, they'll be a game up. We'd like to take this time to remind you that this game is brought to you by Skippy. Skippy, the official peanut butter of the Vancouver Nighthawks. Made with the funnest peanuts ever. Skippy Yippee!
So Vancouver, yes, they're only down 2 going into the fourth quarter. They certainly have a little bit of momentum coming out of that third quarter. But Seattle is a very, very good team. They've only given up 1 break this game so far, and they've taken 4 breaks away from Vancouver. So it's going to take a lot of work still on Vancouver's part if they want to come up with a win here, and Seattle is definitely not going to make it easy for them.
Certainly not. We've seen some great performances today from Seattle. Obviously, El Salam has been great. But another guy who's been kind of an unsung hero for Seattle is Ostergaard. He's got 5 goals here today and 1 assist, Nick.
Ostergaard, 5 goals in a game. Fantastic effort from him today. He's only had a couple of throws, actually. Everything he's gotten has been in the end zone. He's played 13 points, has 5 goals and an assist, but only 2 throws for the entire game. So he's 2 for 2 throwing.
That's what you call an efficient day on the field.
That's what you call an efficient day. 50% of the throws he's made today have been for goals.
And now this pull travels right to left on your screen. Seattle will take over. Short pull. Just in front of their end zone. Double team here. But they get out of it. That's El Salam on the sideline. Oh, gets his man to fall with the big backhand fake. Now he hits a dump. That's always fun to see, Nick.
Yeah, you like the big fake to really take someone off of their feet. That feels good as a thrower.
And now a throw to the end zone. But it's too short, and it's going to be D. That's number 24, Aponte, and Vancouver will take over. Big opportunity here for Vancouver as they're moving it quickly. Back to Aponte. Looking for their second break in this game. In the middle of the field, I believe that's Lee Ross. He puts it up towards the end zone. Oh! A big drop there for number 6, Ted Chu, as it was nearly deed, and that was a golden opportunity for Vancouver.
I cannot believe he didn't come up with that disc. That was a dangerous throw, but it beat the defender. Perfect opportunity there to get them within 1, and Chu just cannot hang on to the Frisbee.
Perhaps the leap of the defender threw him off a little bit, but that's when you expect somebody to come down within the end zone, Nick.
No doubt that it threw him off, but we want to see better concentration there from Chu. He's going to be upset with himself about that one.
Seattle now trying to take advantage. El Salam throws it into the end zone, and that's going to be a score for Hauser. And just like that, what could have been a 1-point game becomes a 3-point game.
Yeah, nice throw there from El Salam to Hauser. Hauser getting another one on the board. He's got 3 today. 3 goals and 3 assists, so big day for Hauser so far.
Yep, that's Hauser's 13th goal in the season. He leads Seattle. And, he's one of those points. He's the point leader for Seattle, too, as you mentioned, 22 points with those assists and goals. And Salam, that's his 5th assist today, Nick. He's got 7 points if you count the 2 goals. So an excellent game from El Salam, and that just shows you why he's one of the best players in the league.
Absolutely. He's done a fantastic job out there for his team. They tried to hit him on the throw where they got the turnover, actually, but left it a little bit short. He comes back down, though, gets an assist on the board.
So let's see if Vancouver can recover here. That was a big, big letdown on that point, but, good teams are able to overcome adversity, and we'll see if they can here as Lowe starts with the disc off of a dump. Now he throws it to the close sideline. That's Chang. Victor Chang having an excellent game today. Oh, and it makes me eat my words as a run through there for Seattle.
Yeah, that was throwing to a receiver who wasn't yet at full speed headed toward you. Always going to be dangerous.
And now a dangerous throw, and it's going to be a turnover for Seattle. Vancouver now, nearly deed there. Eric Hunter, though, gets it to Lowe.
Yeah, they got to settle down a little bit here.
Whitney Brown, it's Nadon. Over to Lowe. Now to Hunter. Hunter with time. Hits a man. That's low. Excuse me, I misspoke. That's Nadon now. Gets it from low. He fakes a flick. Inside to Nadon. To low, excuse me.
I like that little throw there.
Yeah. Nice little throw out to the open low. And now throwing in the end zone. It's going to be a contested play, and it's going to be Deed. Eric Hunter could not come up with it as there were two Seattle defenders there. Not really a good throw. A good choice there, Nick.
No, rather poor choice, but it's still a great defensive play there from Henry Fan.
As Fan now on offense gets it around. That's 18 Neely. He hits a man. That's Breen. Breen now. Back to Neely. It's kind of a high throw. I think we're going to get a call here. Is that maybe a foul?
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a foul on the mark there. They're going to move him up 10 yards.
Yeah, that's going to be a big foul as it puts Seattle just a few yards, 10 yards short of midfield, and now they cross midfield. They're on the far sideline. That's Fan with the disc. He had that D. He gets it up to Neely. Neely puts it up into the end zone, has some float on that throw, has a man, and it's a leaping grab and a score for Breen. And just like that, Seattle has opened back up a 4-point lead over the Nighthawks.
The great thing about that was we got to see Breen preen as he held up the disc in front of him like a mirror, ran his fingers through his hair. Fantastic. Good to see Neely getting a good throw there into the end zone. He had a little bit of a tough time right before the end of the last quarter with a couple of turnovers, but that was a great throw.
That was called. He had that headband over his face, but now he can take it back off his eyes now, Nick.
He can indeed. That was a very, very nice throw from him. And a great play there all around from Seattle to get a break here at the beginning of this fourth quarter.
So things are starting to slip away from Vancouver as it's just 6:47 remaining in the fourth. So more than 3 minutes have gone by and just 2 points here, Nick.
Yeah, a lot of turns there, a little bit of sloppy play on both sides. And, Vancouver had an opportunity to capitalize early in this quarter. Would have made a big difference for where we stand right now. As it is, they're down 4 with a little over 6 minutes to play.
Yep, they'll take over here now. They need a quick score. 4 points, 4-point differential is kind of a lot with just about 6 minutes remaining. They're on the close sideline. That's Stelk. He puts it up the field, has a man. Big fake there, and now a backhand up the line. That's Nadon. Nadon now with a couple pivots. He hits a man on a scoober. That's Whitney Brown. Brown takes his time, patient with it. Back to a dump. That's Stelk. Stelk with a flick now. Oh, it looked like it hit the hand of Lowe there, and it's going to be a turnover. Al Salam picks it up, and Seattle looking to get another break here. They're on the far sideline. Number 33, Sheridan with a fake. He hits a man now. That's Stacy. Stacy looks. He hits his man. That's Sheridan. Sheridan to El Salam. Seattle in scoring range as El Salam hits the dump now. That's Fan. Back to El Salam.
Yeah, Seattle happy to take their time here a little bit.
Yeah,
they're in no hurry.
Just want to run out the clock. They've got a commanding lead of 4 points. As long as you're moving the disc. And oh, what a throw! And are they going to say he's in? Let's see what the official says. He's not in. He's just short of the end zone. But then a no-look throw from him for a score to Cameron Bailey. And that was just 2 unbelievable throws there. One from El Salam and one by, I believe, Henry Fan, Nick.
Yeah, Henry Fan's throw was fantastic. And you could tell that Fan and El Salam play together a lot. They spend a lot of time playing together at the youth level, at the college level, at the pro level. And that was just that level of intuitive communication where Fan looked up the line and was able to find El Salam. It looks like there was some confusion here over the restart there. And yeah, they are going to bring it back out. So that is not a break yet for Seattle.
They're literally inches away from one, though, Nick.
Inches away.
But I've seen this time and time again with a lot of teams. This is often a tough area to score from.
It is a tough area to score from, and our cameraman is not quite. Oh, there he goes. He was a little bit surprised by that restart, as were we.
And there's a nice throw to Fan in the end zone, and that comes full circle. That's El Salam, the fan, for the score.
El Salam and fan. As I said before, good communication there. That play was set up exactly for them. They did that by the book, and a nice easy score there to get another break for Seattle. And this is the thing, is, Vancouver put a nice quarter together in the third quarter, but they just don't seem to be able to string good periods of play together to enough effect to really stay in a game down the stretch.
No, yeah, they're really kind of coming apart here at the end, Nick. I think we're going to get a timeout here as, no, it's not going to be a midfield pull. Seattle's just, oh, it is it? Let's see.
Yeah, it looks like they're setting up for a midfield pull, calling that timeout, trying to put this game away here. We got about 5 minutes left to play in the fourth, and they've got a 5-point cushion now. So why not come up the midfield, get this disc deep in the end zone, and even if you don't get the turn, you're gonna take a lot more time off the clock because you're gonna be pressing them all the way back.
Yeah, they really just want to, nail in the coffin here with this. And that throw for El Salam, that assist, that was his 6th assist on the game. So he now has 8 points if you count his 2 goals. So an excellent game here for El Salam, Nick.
Yeah, fantastic work from him. He just fits into this offense so well and is able to find space whenever he wants.
As the pull from Seattle travels right to left on your screen, it's a floaty pull. I don't really understand what they were trying with that one, Nick.
I'm not sure what the intent was either. People are still experimenting with this half-field pull. Players are still trying to figure out what works best. I'm going to say that was not the answer to that question. But Seattle's still down on defense, putting some pressure on Vancouver.
There's a high throw there, but Nadon comes down with it on the close sideline. And it looked like some contact as he stepped around. It's going to be a turnover. This man couldn't come up with it in Seattle now. Oh, it's a turnover as that throw was just too far behind the dump.
I'm not entirely sure what happened there. It looked like a little bit of a miscommunication. They just they took the disc away and then gave it right back.
And now another high throw, and that's going to be D. Unbelievable series of events here, Nick, on this side of the field, as I think we're getting a call.
Yeah, it looks like we have some kind of call.
Is this one of those things there, Nick, though, with all these turnovers where, 5-point game, both teams, fought hard this whole game, but things are starting to fall apart, maybe mentally for Vancouver and Seattle? Just because, they're real tired?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, yes, Vancouver's going to try to press a little bit harder, to go a little bit more direct because they're now fighting against the clock. Seattle, on the other hand, doesn't have any reason to rush, so should just be all easy throws for them from here on out.
Yeah, they really just have to run the clock out here.
But again, nice defense from Vancouver, really working hard, trying to get that disc back.
Yeah, we've seen that from Vancouver all season. They just really want that first win. But a score here makes it less likely that they're going to get it today. That's number 8, Dylan Harrington, on the receiving end for Seattle.
And Seattle gets another break here, and it's just going to be a tough fourth quarter here. Vancouver yet to score in the fourth quarter. 3:56 left on the clock.
Yeah, they've been broken how many times? Is that the third time, I believe, Nick?
Yeah, that'll be the third break of this quarter.
Yep, so it's just 3:56 remaining. The Seattle Rainmakers are up 20-14 over the Vancouver Nighthawks. Vancouver, they've fought hard. They looked like they had a chance to get their first win, but things have just slipped away from them. But if you're this Vancouver Nighthawk team, you don't want to get donutted. You don't want a donut in the last quarter here.
Yeah, and it's not over yet. You're gonna keep pressing, keep going at it. Get a couple of quick breaks here. You get yourself back within 4 points. Then you put those half-field pulls in. You never know what can happen. So
especially with the Callahan win.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it dead yet. They're gonna keep playing. They're gonna keep pressing, and keep trying to close the gap game after game after game. And get themselves a win here in the season.
Well, they're getting closer and closer every time we watch them. As a big throw goes up, a man open for Vancouver just short of the end zone. And now a big backhand around. Oh, but his cutter low just wasn't on the same page with him, and it's going to be a turn.
Yeah, you want to see a little bit more patience there at that point. He had a cutter. He needed to just give him the time to let his cut develop. Instead, we have a turnover, and Seattle's going to have another go down the field here for yet another break this quarter.
Yep, Seattle, they're just going to look to take their time with the disc now. Run some clock. Simple little throw there. I believe that's Sheridan with the disc. He's doubled now. Vancouver needs to force a turnover, a high throw. but Masler comes down with it, back around.
Yeah, Vancouver needs to press right now that they're up in the end zone. You don't want to let those free throws back and forth there between those two. I think that's Nate on there, who you really want to see get up in his...
Now an inside throw. Oh, it's going to be a turnover. Let's see if Vancouver can take advantage of this here, Nick.
The throw went a little high on him, and he just couldn't close his hands on it. Vancouver gets a lucky break there.
Yep, an excellent opportunity for them. Now throw into the end zone. I think they're going to say, did he straddle? No, it's going to be a score.
Yeah, saying he got his foot down for the score.
Can't see the jersey number on that score, but a nice throw into the end zone there, Nick, and Vancouver is able to convert, cut the lead to 5.
Yeah, I'm going to expect a half-field pull here out of them, too, and it looks like that is what's happening.
Yep, they're not giving up on this game. The fight for this young team is remarkable, and we're seeing them get closer and closer to a winning effort each week we see them play.
Absolutely, and we also can't forget to say enough about Seattle here and the type of team that they are. This is a team that is also, I think, and as they did last year, going to improve game on game throughout the course of this season, and that's how they plan their season. They're confident in their ability to make it to the playoffs in this conference. I talked to them at the beginning of the season. They knew Portland was going to be a very good team and a very strong team. But they feel like they don't need to necessarily challenge to get first place in the conference during the course of the season. They can settle for second, make the playoffs, and then they want to do just what they did last year if they manage to do that. So, San Francisco is certainly going to have something to say about that, and we'll see how strong those words will be as the rest of the season progresses. But Seattle is looking like a really, really good team. And they're going to be very, very strong down the stretch.
And who knows? We know Portland's very strong, but they have a history of struggling once they get to those playoff games. Maybe it could be Seattle this year.
Yeah, I mean, it seems early to talk about playoffs, but the reason that I always think about it is because I want to watch how teams are changing strategy, how they're developing the way that they're playing over the course of the season, because it's all coming up to that sort of culmination point.
Definitely something to think about as the season progresses. We're already in week 5, so season's halfway over already, Nick.
Absolutely. Seattle here with the disc, high stall count.
Yep. As the throw goes off, that'll reset the stall count now as they're working it. Wide open man there for El Salam. Back to him now. Good hustle here for Seattle. Now throw. Oh, looked like he's going to go into the end zone, but hesitant.
Yeah, he holstered that one. He had the gun drawn.
Oh, but a drop there. Vancouver's going to take over.
Was that a drop or a block? That looked like that might have been a nice block there.
Yeah, couldn't really see it. But either way, good defensive effort on the run-through. A low throw here. It's going to be turned over by Vancouver. Seattle will take over now. Oh, throws behind the man there, but he gets it. That's a scooper up front. Now a big backhand towards the sideline. Seattle taking their time with it. That's El Salam with it. He has a man.
You can see what he does there, the throw and go. He's never stops moving, which is why he's so dangerous. He makes that throw, and as soon as it's out of his hand, he's past you. As a mark, you have to be on your toes. Oh, nice throw inside.
Gussin threads the needle with that throw, and that's going to be a score for Hauser, another score for Hauser, and that just increases Seattle's lead yet again, Nick.
Yep, and great bit of play there. And again, like I said, El Salam coming up through the middle of that field, just sort of eviscerating the Vancouver defense. And in the end, yeah, it's Gussin to who made the catch on the end there?
I was Hauser.
Gussin's
fourth goal, Hauser.
Gussin to Hauser. But it was definitely El Salam in the middle of the field making that happen.
And we were talking about earlier how great of a game El Salam was having statistically. That's the fourth goal for Hauser. He's got 3 assists too, and a block to go along with that. So a good fantasy game for Hauser as well.
Yeah, fantastic. So we're down under a minute here. Seattle comfortably in the lead, 21-15.
Yep, they're going to call a timeout and get a pull play from midfield. Think they're just going to practice it for future games, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, you may as well. The thing about this league is that if it comes down in the end to them in San Francisco, point differential always matters. There's a lot of incentives to keep playing right until the last whistle. So they're going to get this short pull.
Yep.
Well fielded, actually, there by Vancouver. Very well handled.
They stopped it right in the front of the end zone. That was Nate on, I believe. They'll work it on the far sideline. That's Nate on. Has a dump. That's Eric Hunter. Back over to Nadon. Nadon looking. Has a man on an in cut. That's Chang. Chang really came out and had a good display here today, Nick. And now big throw down the field from Hunter. He has a man in the end zone. 2 men, but an amazing D there for number 98, Cameron Bailey.
Cam Bailey getting up over the top of the 2 Vancouver players, making a very, very nice catch. Just a few seconds left to go here. This is just about all there is. He's just going to hang on to that until the end of the game.
I think that's enough. I think the stall count is going to do it. A nice pose there. Oh, what a bid there at the end for number 38, Stelk, but it doesn't matter. And that's going to do it here. The final score in Vancouver, 21-15 in favor of the Rainmakers. It was certainly a fun one, Nick. Vancouver played them tight all the way to the end, just couldn't come away with it with their effort in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, there was a good 3 quarters of play from the Vancouver team, which is, the most they've strung together so far this season. So I still think that we're seeing a team that's on its way up, a team that's improving. They got a lot of takeaways from this game. I got to say that drop at the beginning of the fourth quarter, when they had an opportunity to get a break, they had, what was not a great throw, but got lucky in the defender misreading it. Could have scored there, gotten an early break, gotten within 1 point. If that catch had been made, we would have been, I think, looking at a very different game down the stretch. As it was, Seattle was able to come right back, punch it in, and from that point on, they were in complete control of this game. Well done by the Rainmakers. Not taking anything away there, but Vancouver, a little bit more, just technical ability through the entire game, and they're going to be in the hunt as the season carries on.
Yep. So that'll do it here. One last time, final score: Seattle Rainmakers 21, Vancouver Nighthawks 15. For all of you watching at home, I'm Chris Markowitz, and alongside Nick Darling, it's been a pleasure to bring you this broadcast for MLU Live. Thank you, and have a good night.